Jeffrey Epstein's case is one of the most high-profile criminal investigations in recent history, combining elements of financial crime, sex trafficking, and international intrigue. Epstein, a financier with vast social connections, became infamous for his pattern of recruiting and sexually abusing underage girls. His criminal activities, first publicly investigated in the mid-2000s, culminated in a 2008 conviction in Florida, followed by federal investigations that ultimately led to his arrest in 2019. Epstein died in a federal detention facility that same year, but his case continued through the legal proceedings against his associates and the unsealing of court records. The documents that have been publicly released, the so-called Epstein files, primarily include court filings, depositions, and law enforcement reports. These materials detail the criminal allegations against Epstein and his associates, document victim testimony, and outline how federal and state authorities conducted their investigations. Importantly, these files also contain the names of numerous individuals who were part of Epstein's social or professional network. However, it is critical to distinguish between being socially connected to Epstein and being involved in his criminal activities. Many high-profile figures appear in these records because they attended the same events, met him socially, or had professional dealings with him, and not because they were implicated in wrongdoing. One of the reasons Epstein's social circle draws so much attention is that it included politicians, business leaders, celebrities, and academics. Publicly released flight logs, photographs, and event records show Epstein interacting with figures from multiple sectors. For instance, in the 1990s and early 2000s, Epstein was part of social circles in New York, Palm Beach, and Florida resorts. He frequently attended private parties, fundraising events, and dinners. These events sometimes included people such as Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. Importantly, while their names appear in connection with social gatherings or flights, the legal filings do not accuse these figures of any illegal conduct related to Epstein's crimes. Donald Trump's name often comes up because of his past social interactions with Epstein. Trump and Epstein were photographed together at parties, and Epstein visited Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida club. Trump has publicly stated that he knew Epstein but distanced himself years before Epstein's 2019 arrest. No verified evidence in the court files or law enforcement reports suggests Trump participated in Epstein's criminal activities. Legal experts emphasize that mere acquaintance or attendance at social events is not evidence of guilt. Similarly, Melania Trump, a model and later First Lady, has no verified connection to Epstein. She does not appear in court filings, FBI reports, or deposition transcripts related to Epstein. Any media speculation about her involvement is unfounded and has no basis in documented evidence. Including her name in discussions of Epstein without legal context would be misleading and potentially defamatory. The released Epstein files also shed light on his close associates, including Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell, a British socialite, was convicted of sex trafficking and conspiracy charges in 2021 for her role in assisting Epstein. The files provide extensive detail on her activities, communication records, and her interactions with victims. These details offer a stark contrast to high-profile individuals who were merely part of Epstein's broader social sphere. Understanding this distinction is essential. The files contain names of many people, but only some individuals are directly implicated in criminal conduct. Another aspect of the public records involves Epstein's financial operations and property holdings. The files document his wealth, offshore accounts, and the ways in which his assets were structured. These materials help investigators trace how Epstein funded his activities and supported a network of enablers. Legal analysts point out that social connections, even among wealthy and powerful people, do not imply knowledge or participation in criminal acts. In other words, seeing a name in the same social registry as Epstein is not equivalent to evidence of wrongdoing. From a reporting perspective, these nuances are critical. The media often highlights names like Donald Trump because of their public profile, but responsible reporting clarifies whether these individuals are witnesses, social contacts, or legally implicated parties. The safe approach to discussing the Epstein files involves emphasizing verified facts: who was charged, who testified, and who merely had a social association. In summary, the Epstein files reveal a complex web of criminal activity, financial dealings, and social connections. They document the experiences of victims, the criminal charges against Epstein and Maxwell, and the investigatory steps taken by federal and state authorities. While they include names of prominent figures, including former President Donald Trump, these names are connected through social, not criminal, interactions. Melania Trump does not appear in any credible document related to Epstein, confirming that public speculation linking her to the case is entirely unfounded. Understanding these distinctions ensures any discussion is factually accurate, responsible, and respectful to the victims and individuals involved. The Epstein case and the release of his files has generated intense public scrutiny and widespread media coverage. One of the key challenges in understanding the situation is separating verified legal findings from speculation, rumor, or sensationalized narratives. The publicly available files, including court records, deposition transcripts, and FBI DOJ investigative documents, provide a detailed picture of Epstein's criminal operations while also highlighting the need for careful interpretation of social connections. Legally, the Epstein files focus on the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and his known associates, particularly Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell's conviction for sex trafficking and conspiracy established a clear judicial precedent. She directly facilitated Epstein's illegal activities. Epstein himself, had he lived to face trial, would have been similarly held accountable for orchestrating a wide-ranging network of sexual exploitation. These legal outcomes provide the factual foundation from which all discussions about the case should proceed. Any commentary on other individuals must be grounded in documented evidence rather than social proximity or public speculation. The files also demonstrate how the federal and state legal systems approach complex cases involving wealthy and socially connected individuals. Investigators relied heavily on financial records, flight logs, witness statements, and electronic communications to establish patterns of behavior. Courts have underscored the importance of corroborated evidence when linking third parties to criminal conduct. This principle is crucial when examining high-profile names mentioned in media reports. While someone may appear in flight logs or photos, inclusion in documents does not equate to criminal culpability. Donald Trump's name is frequently discussed in this context. As established in Segment 1, Trump knew Epstein socially, and Epstein was a guest at Trump properties in the 1990s. However, no court filing, deposition, or verified document suggests Trump engaged in or facilitated any illegal activity. Legal experts repeatedly emphasize that social contact or even association with a known criminal is not itself evidence of wrongdoing. The court documents do not charge Trump, nor do they place him as a witness in any criminal capacity related to Epstein's offenses. This distinction is vital for accurate reporting and responsible public discourse. Melania Trump, likewise, is not mentioned in any court filings or investigative records related to Epstein. As a public figure, she has faced speculative reporting linking her to high-profile social circles, but the Epstein files do not provide any factual basis for such claims. Maintaining this distinction is important to prevent the spread of misinformation and to protect individuals from unfounded allegations. Another legal implication of the Epstein files is the treatment of victims' voices. The documents provide detailed accounts of the victims' experiences, which were central to securing Maxwell's conviction and understanding the scope of Epstein's crimes. These narratives, preserved in court filings and depositions, highlight the importance of victim testimony in complex criminal cases. They also emphasize the responsibility of media and public discourse to focus on verified facts, the legal process, and justice for survivors, rather than sensational speculation about peripheral figures. Public perception of the Epstein case has often been shaped by incomplete information, social media speculation, and high-profile associations. The challenge lies in educating audiences about the difference between social networks and criminal networks. Being photographed with someone or attending a public event does not imply complicity in illegal acts. This distinction is supported by legal principles and reinforced in the Epstein files, which are meticulous in documenting direct involvement versus social proximity. From a broader perspective, the Epstein case also serves as a lesson about power, accountability, and the judicial system's role in addressing crimes that involve wealthy and socially connected individuals. The federal and state investigations demonstrate that even high-status individuals can be held accountable when there is credible evidence of criminal conduct. Simultaneously, They show the importance of avoiding assumptions based on fame, wealth, or media speculation. Responsible interpretation of the Epstein files requires emphasizing documented evidence, judicial outcomes, and verified testimony. For journalists, educators, and the public, the files provide a framework for understanding these distinctions. Key takeaways include: focus on legally established facts. Only the individuals formally charged, convicted, or documented as witnesses have verified legal involvement. Separate social association from criminal involvement. Being part of the same social circle as Epstein does not imply criminal participation. Prioritize victim accounts and investigative documentation. The files show that victims' statements and corroborating evidence form the foundation of legal outcomes. Resist rumor-driven narratives. Media and social discourse often amplify speculation, but accurate reporting relies on court filings, investigative reports, and verified documents. In conclusion, the Epstein files provide a detailed, legally grounded account of one of the most significant criminal cases of the early 21st century. They document the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, outline investigative and judicial actions, and reveal the social and professional networks surrounding Epstein. However, these files also underscore a critical principle. Not everyone connected socially to Epstein is implicated in criminal activity. Donald Trump appears in social contexts but is not legally implicated, while Melania Trump has no documented connection at all. The files, when interpreted responsibly, help clarify the distinction between social proximity and criminal involvement, highlight the experiences of victims, and offer lessons about accountability, evidence-based reporting, and the judicial process. By focusing on verified facts, the Epstein files allow for informed discussion without spreading unverified claims, protecting both victims and public figures, and reinforcing the importance of the rule of law in addressing complex crimes.